Welcome to the Hometown Bluegrass Show, the heart and soul of bluegrass music, brought to you straight from Western Kentucky. Join your hosts Tim Batts, a passionate promoter of bluegrass and live music, and Josh Williams, 3-time IBMA Guitar Player of the Year and a true bluegrass legend. They talk about the latest bluegrass news, interview your favorite artists, and tell lighthearted stories that celebrate the bluegrass tradition. Josh even gives bluegrass music tips in every episode. So grab your banjo, pick up your guitar, and let's have some fun together. This is the Hometown Bluegrass Show.
That's right. This is the Hometown Bluegrass Show.
It sure is, ain't it?
Straight from Western Kentucky, it says.
Yes.
That's right. So
That's not a lie.
We took away 17 guitar titles and gave you True Bluegrass Legend in the new intro. So
It's okay. I'll take it.
yeah. So, I mean, hey, legend status is pretty cool. So
I will take it. I will wear that badge proudly.
oh, man, that's right. Well, cool, man. So glad to be back doing this again. How you doing, man?
I am good. Wyatt, I am rolling. That's from Tombstone.
Young Guns? Oh,
No,
Tombstone. Gotcha. Okay. Sorry. I know. I should have known that reference.
Well, yeah,
that's one of my favorite movies.
Whenever he shakes hands with Doc Holliday, he says, "How the heck are you?" Or whatever, and he says, "Wyatt,
What?
I am rolling."
Oh, there was a lot of great Val Kilmer lines in that movie.
Oh,
Most of them I can't say on here, but
that's very true.
I
But
love that movie.
he is a fantastic actor.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, the famous one, I'm your Huckleberry.
Oh yeah,
There's so many.
but there's a lot of folks that didn't like him as Batman.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't get.
I
into
mean, they
those
still like him better than George Clooney.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, George.
I mean,
Clooney's
George
still-
did a good job too, but
Yeah.
he just didn't have much to work with.
Yeah, exactly. Well, cool,
So-
man. Well, I'm glad to be back doing this. This every other week thing is starting to get in the hang of things and
Okay.
feeling the swing of it. So,
Yeah. I'm sitting over here feeling like we missed a week. So
well, you didn't show up last Monday, so we just didn't do it. So
agree to disagree. I did too show up last Monday.
I'm just
It was
teasing.
just at a restaurant.
Exactly. Oh,
And I
that's
showed
right.
up late.
That's right.
Go figure.
Fashionably late.
Always
That's right.
fashionably. What are you talking about?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah, Josh and I serve on the board together for the Jackson Purchase Friends of Bluegrass, and we had our board meeting last Monday night, and so we were all eating already, and Josh just comes strolling in about 30 minutes late, but hey, whatever.
Got to do that.
The waitress said, "Do you want to wait on your other person?" I said, "No, I do
Thanks,
not.
man. Thank you.
I'm ready to eat Mexican
I
food."
appreciate that.
That's right.
And
So,
Mexican food, really, that's Tex-Mex at best.
well, I agree. Yeah, but it's around
I
here
mean,
that's
it's
about
still
all we
good.
get. So
It's still good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites around here for sure. So.
I had the shrimp tacos, and they were fantastic.
Yeah, I get the fajita tacos.
I
That's
don't know
pretty
what
good.
that sauce is that they put on there, but
That white ranch stuff.
Yeah, is that what it is?
Yeah, it was
Man.
so good.
I got that stuff on my forehead one time. I thought my tongue was going to beat my brains out trying to get to it, man. It was awful.
Oh man, where's my sound effects when I need it?
That's
So,
right.
cool, man. Well, you been playing any? You've been. I know you guys have been back in the studio, right, recording.
Well, we actually just a couple of nights ago, we were up in Owensboro, Kentucky, doing a photo shoot.
I saw that on Facebook. Yeah.
Because we are going to be on the cover of Bluegrass Unlimited.
Shut up.
Yeah.
You didn't even tell me.
Well, I mean, it's on a need-to-know basis.
Wow. Jeez.
You just didn't need to know yet.
I got you.
And plus, I didn't know when it was going to be until fairly recently. So
I got you.
But
So-
yeah, that's what we were doing. We were getting our photos made for the, we got several guys to choose from. There's a fella up there, and I can't recall his name right off to tell you, but he is part of Bluegrass Unlimited and stuff. And dude, he is so good. I believe his first name was Jason.
The photographer you're talking
Yeah,
about?
which reminds me, I was going to tell you this story because last week at work, of course, I work for United Rentals, and you mentioned showing up fashionably late. There's nothing more fashionable than high vis yellow,
Right.
and
Exactly.
that's usually what I'm wearing all the time. But anyway, this guy came in, and I've heard people with unusual names before. I've met lots of folks like that, and this guy's name was Jathan, not Jason. And not
Nathan.
Nathan. His name was Jathan.
Wow, and he didn't have a speech impediment.
And I was trying to because I'm horrible with names. Like that's if I don't use somebody's name like right off the bat a few times, I will not remember it. And the chances are the next time I see this guy, I won't remember it either. But this was pretty memorable. But anyway, I was trying to say Jathan, over and over again. And finally he looks at me and he says, "Are you being serious right now?" And then it dawned on me, yeah, his name's Jason.
Oh my gosh. So he did have a speech impediment.
I made that up. That's not even a real story.
Jerk, man. We just wasted 2 minutes of my life that I'll never get back.
Lord. Just enjoy it.
Jeez Louise. I don't even know what I'm going to do with you. Oh,
Anywho.
well. Anyway, so did you go to Spigma?
I did not go to Spigma,
Gotcha.
and I had actually planned on doing that, but
I thought you said you might take Weldon.
Weldon and I was actually both of us were looking forward to being able to do that, and then we realized that Saturday was when we had to go up to Owensboro for the photo shoot.
Gotcha.
And it was either go early, drive the 2 hours to Nashville to stay at Spigma just only for a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
And then drive the 2 hours to Owensboro from Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we were done at Owensboro, drive the 2 hours home. So that would have been a total of 6 hours driving.
Right.
And so it was either that or go to Owensboro a little bit early and eat at Moonlight Barbecue.
Oh, yes.
So
I never missed that chance.
Moonlight won out.
Absolutely. Did you eat some mutton?
Of course I did.
Oh, yeah. Cool. That's a lot.
It's always a little gamey, I think. It just has a different taste to it.
Yeah.
But if you're going to eat it anywhere, folks, eat it at Moonlight Barbecue in Owensboro,
I always have to
Kentucky.
eat a little bit while I'm there, but
They are the reason that Owensboro is still in some places of the world referred to as the barbecue capital of the world.
Exactly.
As well as at one time it was called the bluegrass capital of the world too, because that was the original home of IBMA.
Right. Absolutely. And speaking of which, you're going to be there March 14th, playing a show at the Hall of Fame with Authentic Unlimited.
Yeah, I finally got my big break.
I get to open for Authentic Unlimited.
Up for Authentic
Oh,
Unlimited.
man, you have finally made it, baby.
I think I may have.
That's awesome.
My dad always told me that if I stayed on what he was always told me to do, that he'd have me farting through silk.
There
So
you
maybe
go.
one of these days that'll come true.
You'll be farting through John Medder's silk underwear.
Whoa, now wait a minute. I don't know
I
about
bet John
that.
Medder might wear silk underwear. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
I hope he's listening.
If he is, he's probably really uncomfortable right now.
He's probably texting me right now.
Oh, that's
man.
funny.
Cool. So
That'll be a fun night, man. And
Absolutely.
then the KFC Bluegrass Festival is started back up now, and it is in Owensboro. So it used to be and I don't know if it's the same, and they've brought it to Owensboro or what, but there used to be one, of course, Henryville, Indiana, was where it used to be. Of course, that's where Colonel Sanders was from. That's where it started.
Gotcha.
And but
what's the date on that?
that is the day after I play, so it'll be the 13th and 14th.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize that. So is it going to be?
Or is it 14th and 15th? I can't remember.
I think the 14th, I think, is Friday night, I think. So.
Let's just look.
But, well, that's cool.
Yes, 14th and 15th.
Awesome. So you're
I
gonna,
had it right the second
So Southern
time.
Legacy's playing the 15th on Saturday?
No,
Just you?
just me.
Cool.
I will be there. I'm not playing the festival. I am what they are referring to as the jam liaison. So,
Well, jam you.
that's right.
Cool. Well,
I'll be there with the whole jam lot of them. So, yeah. So if you are up there and listening to us, and you're in Owensboro, Kentucky, or you plan on going to that festival, I will be there on Saturday, and they do have a specific place where they allow jamming, and I'm going to be the jam ambassador. I guess is probably really what they called it. But I just thought liaison sounded kind of cool
oh, that's a cool word to
till
say.
I said it.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely. Well, cool.
so yeah, it'll be a fun weekend.
Well, I had FOMO bad. I didn't get to go to Spigma. I had to run sound for an event Saturday night here in Western Kentucky, so I didn't get a chance to go. But
Yeah, you should have went. You should have been there.
I know I should have been, but I had to make money. So for my business,
what we should do sometime? We should, and it would be awesome to do this. We should get a booth in the trade show there for our podcast.
That's a good idea. I had several people texting me though. Well, are you here? We got, and then there's a room set up for media, and like you can podcast here. Come on down and all that. And I had 3 or 4 people texting me, and I was like, oh, but I had already committed to running sound for this event here. It's a charity league. It's a huge fundraiser they do for the Western Kentucky Easter Seals, and
yes, I saw that stuff on Facebook.
I had to run sound and make money. So that's part of it.
So what else did you do besides running sound? Were you a DJ?
Oh yeah, yeah. I like to refer to myself as an event audio provider, but
An event audio provider.
yeah, DJ's kind of wiki.
You're an EEP.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a YAP, depending on
Exactly.
what part of the country you're from.
Right.
Well, that's cool.
But anyway, it looks like great award. Your old former bandmate, promoter of the year, man.
What about that?
I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I remembered he had that festival.
Yeah. Congratulations to Aaron McDermott.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. For
Bluegrass promoter of the year.
I know, right?
Yeah, and that's so cool because I was watching them on Facebook as they come through, and while I was running this event, and so I was like, cool. But then your old boss Rhonda got Bluegrass Band of the Year. So
overall.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder, and I would have to go back through the history of Spigma to figure this out, but I wonder how many people or how many promoters have won the promoter of the year, but that were also a previous banjo player of the year. Because Aaron's won banjo player of the year too, so I wonder if that's ever happened before.
I would highly doubt it.
It's possible,
Yeah.
but I don't know if
Yeah.
it has been or not.
Yeah, that's cool.
If it has, I don't know about it.
Looks like they had a good night of winners. Rhonda won female vocalist of the year, and so,
Maddie Dalton won bass player of the year. I think
saw that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
She is the sweetest, and she is an amazing musician.
she's a sweet girl, and I was really thrilled to see that as well. So lots of great winners. You can check those out on bluegrasstoday.com. And,
Who won guitar? I didn't see.
Guitar player of the year is Cody Norris.
Oh, okay.
Cool. So, yeah, it looks like he won several awards again this year like he did last year.
Well,
so,
he's a crowd favorite, especially around Spigma.
that's for sure.
Alan Bybee got a mandolin player of the century, I think is what they were referring to that as.
Yeah, no doubt. That's for sure.
Who was the gospel group of the year?
The band you're opening up for? March.
yeah. Those guys.
Yeah.
Well,
Authentic Unlimited
yeah,
Gospel
congrats to
Group of the
them.
Year.
Instrumental group of the year was East Nash Grass.
Yep.
That's very cool.
Yep. So lots of great fun there at Spigma. Hope you guys went and had fun. We'd love to hear your Spigma stories or see pictures. You can post them on our Facebook page, and we'd love to hear all about the fun stuff you had without us. So
We can't just talk about some and not talk about the rest of them, especially like Kristen Scott Benson, winning banjo player.
Yep.
Daryl Mosley got songwriter of the year,
Yep.
which is great
We've had
because
Daryl on the show here.
he's the writer of that song that everybody wants me to sing,
Yeah.
Prodigal Son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Prodigal Son. He's the one that wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Boss Lady won a female vocalist. Now, are they still is there 2 female vocalists and male vocalists these days, or is it just the one? Because they used to do traditional and contemporary.
Oh, no, they just do one.
They just do
now.
the one now.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep. So
Very good. Very good.
Yep, that's for sure. I know our buddy Junior Sisk won Album of the Year with "If There's a Will, There's a Way." So
Well, and isn't that the album that had just come out whenever he was
Yeah.
on our show? Yeah.
Mhm. And
Well, congratulations, Junior.
our good friends the Grascals won Song of the Year with "Tennessee Hound Dog."
That is an awesome song.
Yeah.
The old Osborne Brothers song.
Yeah,
That's so cool. And they did it pretty much just the same way.
Yep.
And awesome for Kristen to be able to even do that, because that was some of Sonny's best and highest playing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure she did it justice.
I'll never forget when I was just getting to be around Sonny and stuff, and I asked him one time, I said, how did you come up with that stuff that you would play in those things? And he would say, I don't know. I don't remember most of it. I was high a lot back then.
Well, there you go.
All right. Well,
Cool.
now I know why Bobby referred to him as Chemical Boy on stage.
Oh, my goodness.
I have never seen, though, two brothers that would literally regard the other so highly.
Oh, really?
You know, even in times if they didn't talk, if they were mad at each other and all that, I mean, it didn't matter. Like Bobby, you ask him and he'd say nobody could touch Sonny. Sonny was just amazing, And then if you talk to Sonny, he'd tell you that Bobby was the best. Like nobody could do it. And to this day, not many people can even do what Bobby did.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I'll say this because I did perform a couple of weeks back. We talked about this, I think, on the last podcast. I just played with the No Joke Jimmies.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a lot of fun. And Jamie Johnson, of course, is in that, lead singer of the Grascals. Mm-hmm. And he is singing, I believe, better than I've ever heard him.
Mm-hmm.
His singing is just really come on.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been great, don't get me wrong, but he's just singing better than ever. And to be able to pull it off live is doing it in the studio is one thing, but pulling it off live like he's been doing. John Bryan's an amazing singer too, don't get me wrong. And how lucky are they to have such good high lead vocalists?
Yeah, two of them,
Yeah.
No doubt. Their new song, is it Coal Dust Kisses, that Jamie does? I think his wife wrote that song. Mm-hmm. And, man, it's just a great song. He does so good on that. So that's a new song there. So
who are we leaving out? Are we leaving anybody out? Chris Jones?
Cody Norris, Band Entertainer of the Year.
Chris Jones, DJ of the Year.
Yep. Sirius XM 1 Radio Station of the Year. And Mary Rachel Norris won Fiddle Player of the Year.
I see Matt Ledbetter got Dobro Player of the Year.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. Who's he play for?
He's played for a bunch of different folks. He played for Dale Ann. He was actually with Lonesome River Band for a little while. And but I know he still plays with Dale Ann Bradley when she plays.
Oh, cool.
But that is Phil Ledbetter's son.
Oh, okay.
So
cool. Well, speaking of Lonesome River Band, I'm excited about our guest coming up here shortly, Mr. Sammy Shelor.
Oh, Sam Joe.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking to Sammy here in just a little bit, so it's going to be good to have him on and see what he's been up to. So he's that tall drink of water, banjo man.
Most definitely. When I was young, I wanted to be Sammy Shelor.
Did you?
If you go back and listen to my banjo playing, around about the time that I was 16 and on up till, I guess about the time that I started playing with Special Consensus and stopped playing banjo all the time, I patterned my playing after Sammy a lot. Mm-hmm. And even had a top tension banjo that I was playing. Deering made, and we talked about this too, I think, but at one time it was the only top tension that Deering ever made, like the only one in existence was the one I have. And then I think they've got another one out now, or maybe two, but yeah. And that's why, because Sammy was the dude. Like, I thought he was the greatest.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's pretty awesome.
I guess if you grow up listening to Earl, Crow, and then Sammy Shelor, I think you're a pretty lucky guy. You have been exposed to very good music, very good musicianship.
Absolutely. We'll hear from Sammy here in a little bit, but first we'll take a quick break, and then when we come back, Josh is going to play us a little song on the guitar. And
are you going to do us a little segment of your DJ stuff, where we can get a little bit of the stuff that you had going on?
No, we're not.
No?
We're not at all.
Oh, come on, man.
We're not at all going to do any of that for sure.
That would be so much fun.
Well, sorry, man. You'll have to wait till next time.
I don't believe that you're sorry at all.
I'm not. Believe me, when they ask me to play songs, I'm like, now, who sings that? Can you spell it? Like, I don't know these songs. But you sure you don't want to hear some Lonesome River Band or something?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But anyway.
If people want to start hollering out for Paradise City, then you actually, instead of Guns N' Roses, you play Paradise by John Prine.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's usually songs way worse
Wrong
than
song.
that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'd be happy to play Paradise City by Guns N' Roses.
Did you play any CeeLo Green?
Well, no.
Oh.
I had I didn't have the radio version on. I only had the other version that you taught me.
Well, I mean, hey, that's a great song.
Absolutely. All right. We'll be back in just a minute. Don't go nowhere.
Custom Automotive in Calvert City, Kentucky has been a family-operated business for over 50 years. When you call Custom Automotive, you'll talk to an experienced tire and wheel expert. They install wheels and tires on thousands of vehicles every year in addition to their online sales. Stop by and thank them for supporting bluegrass music. Custom Automotive, Highway 62, Calvert City, Kentucky, 270-395-7611. Or visit them online at customautoonline.com.
For over 50 years, Puckett's Jewelry in Benton, Kentucky has been a trusted choice for fine jewelry that will last a lifetime and help you celebrate life's most precious moments. The new owners, Bart and Hannah Lewis, are excited to continue the Puckett's Jewelry legacy in Marshall County and are proud to support bluegrass music. Puckett's Jewelry on the Square in Benton, Kentucky. Visit them online at puckettsjewelry.com.
Howdy, friends. I'm Banjo Ben Clark, and you're listening to my good buddies Tim Batts and Josh Williams on the Hometown Bluegrass Show. You've tuned in because you like valuable conversation about the world's best music. And if you want more good stuff like that, come on over to my website, banjobenclark.com, where you can learn how to play and purchase anything you might need when it comes to bluegrass-related instruments and accessories. My Gold Pick members over there can access hundreds of lessons for banjo, guitar, and mandolin with all kinds of resources to help you move on down the road with your picking skills. And if you're looking to purchase something, the deals can't be beat at Banjo Ben's General Store. All there on the same website, banjobenclark.com. Now back to the show.
All right, welcome back to the Hometown Bluegrass Show, and thank you so much, Mr. Banjo Ben. If you get a chance to go to banjobenclark.com, please do so. They have everything that you need for your picking habits.
They sure do. They even have stuff you don't need.
Absolutely. They've got a lot of stuff on their website.
Ben may not appreciate me saying that. I better not say that.
No doubt.
They got a lot. That's what I mean.
They got a lot of stuff, and even have online lessons, and so you can even use the promo code Hometown10. That's Hometown 10, not spelled out 10, but Hometown and the number 10.
And it's not metal. It's not TIN.
Exactly. You can 1 and a 0, and you can save 10% off your order from Banjo Ben. So thank you for supporting Banjo Ben Clark, and thanks Banjo Ben for supporting the Hometown Bluegrass Show as well as our other sponsors. So we do appreciate it very much. Well, now's the time where our 20-time Bluegrass Guitar Player of the Year is going to teach us something about playing some bluegrass guitar.
Well, here's what not to do.
Yes, don't do that.
That is what you don't do. And I have done that several times on stage. I don't know how much of a lesson this is going to be, but I am going to do a song. So we do want y'all to write in, though. If you get an opportunity, write into the Hometown Bluegrass Show Facebook page. And obviously, we always like to know where your hometown is, so maybe we should start featuring a hometown again this year on our podcast. So.
Absolutely.
But definitely write in and ask me questions, or have me, give me stuff that you want to know about. If I know it, I'm happy to share my experience or my knowledge to help you out in any way that I can.
Absolutely. So what song are you going to do for us?
Well, this is a song that was written by Kim Fox many years ago, and I recorded this on my very first album. And, in fact, Don Rigsby was the producer on that album. And Sammy Shelor was on this track playing banjo. And I may have done this before in times past, but if I have, it's been long enough that it doesn't matter.
So this is from your debut album, huh? 2001.
I know. It was a long time ago.
24 years. And you look like a youngin'.
Well,
how old were you there?
I was, in that photo, I would have been, I think I was 19 in that photo.
Gotcha.
But when the record was released in 01, I would have been turning 21 that year.
Gotcha.
So I was actually, that might have even been 18, because that was around the end of my senior year of high school.
Yeah.
So that's why I look so lame. But anyway, so this is called An Eye for an Eye. Leroy walked through the village square. He had whiskey on his breath. He went there looking for the Dillon boy to avenge his young son's death. Leroy's son had died 2 months ago. Johnny Dillon shot him dead. The judge had ruled it was an accident, but it mattered not to him. It's an eye for an eye till the debt is paid. Forgiveness don't lie in this bed that you made. Now it's your turn to die and my will to be done. With revenge for the death of my son. In the end, it's an eye for an eye. By the corner of the barber shop, that's where Leroy saw his prey. Pulled a revolver from inside his coat and held his breath while he took aim. As the boy hit the ground with fear in his eyes, Leroy dropped his gun. A desperate father kneeling by the boy's side, Leroy killed the wrong man's son. It's an eye for an eye till the debt is paid. Forgiveness don't lie in the bed that you made. Now it's your turn to die and my will to be done. With revenge for the death of my son. In the end, it's an eye for an eye. It's an eye for an eye till the debt is paid. Forgiveness don't lie in this bed that you made. Now it's your turn to die and my will to be done. With revenge for the death of my son. In the end, it's an eye for an eye. Little abridged version there.
Yeah, cool, man.
It's there's a bridge to it too that I couldn't think of the words on it, and we just trucked on through it. So there's a whole section there that I left out, but that's okay. Buy the album so you can hear the rest of the song.
Exactly. That's right. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's a great. I love a great story song like that. So,
but it does say Leroy paid the final price. He'll die on his own. Like, he ain't never getting out, and it's all because he made a mistake. He got let it get to him, you know.
Yeah. Well,
killed the wrong guy's son, man. Killed the wrong dude.
Need to make a movie out of that song.
You know, you actually could if you really.
And that's what I like about a song, that when you listen to a song that it could actually be like a little mini movie in your head. You know, it's a little 3 or 4 minute movie, and to me that makes a great song. So.
Well, and that's what separates the good songwriters from the great songwriters, you know. And this is something I was actually talking to my kids about this weekend when I had them. We were, just talking about music in general, and I said, really, really good music will move you. Like you feel it. You know, it will invoke emotion. And there's just certain songs that to this day, and it doesn't matter how many times I hear them. As I'm getting like halfway through it, I'm choked up, like I could never sing them myself.
Yeah.
And there's lots of songs that I do sing that sometimes will invoke that while I'm singing it. And Sweet Little Boy's one of them.
Yeah.
You know, and most of the time I'm fine singing that song, but every once in a while, you know, you just get that moment where you feel it. And then a lot of it has to do with, you know, the being on stage, you can feel the audience, and, you know, and what they're feeling a lot of the time too. And that comes across, especially when you look out and you know that song's really moving somebody out there who has either been through or, you know, things that I've been through, or, you know, with that song, they may have lost a loved one because of it. So.
Right. Absolutely. Well, that's cool. I love a good story song. Probably none better than Echo Mountain, but anyway.
He shot the dog, man.
I love a good dog killing.
That's one of my favorite James King stories ever. He shot the dog, man.
Oh, man. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have Mr. Sammy Shelor on the line and find out what he's going on in the Lonesome River Band world. So stay with us, and we'll be right back.
The Lake House Inn at Sled Creek has undergone complete renovation in 2023. Our outdoor space is unlike any other at Kentucky Lake. With 2 in-ground pools, 18 rooms, and 4 cabins, we're just a stone's throw away from Kentucky Dam. If you're looking to make memories with your family, this nostalgic inn is for you. Welcome to your lake house, where modern meets rustic and becomes home. Reserve online at lakehouseinn.com.
Hey, this is Josh Williams for Page Capos. The Page Capo is lightweight, durable, and quickly attaches and allows you to change frets with ease. With controlled tension capabilities, Page Capo always stays in tune. But don't just take my word for it. Page Capos is also used by folks like Vince Gill, Ron Block, Tim O'Brien, Cody Kilby, Tommy Emanuel, and James Taylor. So don't trust just any capo. Use what the pros use. Listen to the Hometown Bluegrass Show podcast for your chance to win a Page Capo on every episode. Do what I do and trust Page Capos. Order online at pagecapo.com.
Well, welcome back to the Hometown Bluegrass Show, everybody. I am Tim Batts, along with Mr. Josh Williams.
Yes, thank you.
And we appreciate you being with us on this episode. You just heard the Page Capo advertisement, and we just wanted to remind you that we do give away a free Page Capo on every episode, and we will be doing so on this episode as well. So you stay tuned. We're going to talk to Sammy Shelor here in just a second, and when we do, we're gonna ask you a trivia question of something that we talked to Sammy about. We don't know what yet. We're just gonna make it up, and then on Friday when we post the episode on our Facebook page, you be the first one to comment on the trivia question and give us the right answer, and you'll win a free Page Capo. So
that's right. You'll win one just like the one that Tim uses on his mandolin.
Shut your face. Oh, man.
It'll be just like it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we are really excited to have a true bluegrass legend with us right now, unlike the one sitting here beside me, Mr. Sammy Shelor. How are you, buddy?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Can you tell we fight a lot?
Well, Mandolin capo crack. That was pretty good.
Hey, it's the truth, too, man.
He borrowed my Weber mandolin one time and to go play a gig because he doesn't have a mandolin.
I don't even own a mandolin right now.
And so
Right.
I give him the case, and there was a capo down in the storage thing, and I have not heard the end of it. I mean, I'm not a mandolin expert like you guys. Oh, Lord.
Hey, man, you do what you got to do to get through it.
Exactly. I mean, when you're playing at church and they want to play in like C sharp or something, you know, you just got to do what you got to do.
That's it.
Hey, you know something? What I didn't realize until I saw a video just a couple of days ago, that not only is Sammy Shelor a guitar and banjo like proficient player, he is an awesome mandolin player too. And I've got a video on my phone to prove it from where he was playing with Richard Bennett and some guys back years ago. You were killing it, man.
The years go. That's the key word. There,
Oh.
key words. Man, I was a teenager. I got eat up with all the dog stuff, like all of us did.
Mhm.
And so I played, and I actually played in the band for about 3 years when I was like 14, 15 years old. And, I just like banjo better because I could tune it a little bit better than I could a mandolin. I never could keep it, so that's the reason I gave up on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
I tell you, dude, I
there
couldn't
was-
believe it. It was like, whoa, he's killing it, man. Like, I didn't even know you played. Had no idea. I shouldn't have been surprising because you're awesome, and that's kind of the bluegrass way to grow up learning different instruments. But
Yeah, and you just try what you can get a hold of to see what's going to fit you best.
yeah.
And mandolin didn't do it for me.
Well, I tell you, dude, you blew me away on that video. You were killing it. It was really good. I mean, it wasn't just good mandolin. It was great mandolin. It's like, wow, holy crap, dude.
So he's better than average.
It
huh?
was.
Yes. And he didn't use a
It
capo.
was.
There was no no capo.
Shut
I see
up.
Tim over here gritting his teeth.
I think it was in G. So
Yeah, see, if we're in G, I'm good.
Oh man.
Oh, so you didn't teach Adam Miller how to play the mandolin then, huh?
no, man, he's just kind of learned in the last 3.5 years and become a great mandolin player.
There you go.
He's a guitar player at heart, and
Oh, really?
but I need a good. Yeah, I mean, he could play some mandolin when he first joined the band, and had a great chop, but I wanted that voice.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter. I told him, I said, man, if you can play a little bit of melody and keep a chop going, you got the gig.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Sammy said, I'll play the mandolin breaks on the record. Don't worry.
nobody wants any of that. But,
Well,
No,
you do
man.
y'all have a great band right now, man. I mean, just with Jesse and Adam and Mike and Cameron. Gosh, I mean, you guys are doing some great things.
When
man.
when I was doing, of course, I got the opportunity to play a couple of shows with Sammy and those guys, playing with the Lonesome River Band, and it was like my dream gig, because I knew every single song except the one.
He told Greg Cahill the same thing, Sam. He just
No, I didn't. I offered Greg Cahill a flat pick a lot of the times. I was like, here, if you're gonna play like that, just use this flat pick. But no, and I got the opportunity to do that, and I'm like, okay, so when Adam joins, he's gonna be playing mandolin, and Jesse's gonna be going to guitar. I wonder how that's gonna be, because I'm so used to hearing a certain way that I've heard them guys play all these years. Dude, like that was not a dumb move at all. Jesse's got great rhythm. His rhythm playing is awesome.
yeah.
Which he was a guitar player when I hired him.
Right, and I do remember that.
And I just said, man, is your mandolin playing, enough to get me through, because I need your voice. It's all about the singing. I mean, I can't sing. I try to sing a little baritone. So if I don't surround myself with good singers, I'm sunk. So it's all about having good singers, and I know what kind of voices I like, and that's what I shoot for.
Well, and you have that reputation, the band's reputation too. I mean, you guys have always had great singers, even back years ago when it was Jerry McMillan singing. I mean, there was always great singers in the group.
Yeah. Well, they've had a few big names like Ronnie Bowman.
Yeah, Ronnie and
Don Riggs.
that Kim Kaminsky or whatever his name is. He was
Don.
He was
Was
pretty
it Don?
good. Yeah,
Don Kaminsky.
Don Rigsby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all of those guys. I mean, just. So you had, you've got to have those good voices, and even, your years with Parker, was always awesome, and he's an amazing singer, and everybody that's been a singer in y'all's group. I even really appreciated the short-lived group with Barry Barrier. playing bass.
Yeah, with Barry and
Shannon.
And Shannon Slaughter singing and Parker singing. We had 3 lead singers right there.
Yeah.
And
some bands are lucky to get one.
Well, I know, and we've always been blessed to have 2 at most all times.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands can't say that. So, it's been one of our trademarks through the years, and it helps break up an album so much, to where you can mix things up and just concentrate on variety throughout a record. And whenever we're like right now searching for songs and I hear something, I'll say, Jesse can sing that one, or Adam can sing that one. So I'm sending them out to both, and with the suggestion, but it just creates more variety in the records and the shows, and I just think it's a great selling point.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. So for those who may not be familiar, let's go back to the beginning when Lonesome River Band first got going and started really taking off. What year was that?
Well, I wasn't there then.
I remember that. Yeah.
Well, the band started in 1982, so it's 43 years old now. And Tim Austin, and there's a lot of different ideas about who was first and who was this, and I really don't know for sure who played the very first Lonesome River Band show. I know there was a guy named Mike Jones that played banjo for a little while. Alan Watkins played banjo for a little while.
Brian Fessler.
Well, he was later on.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, Rick Williams.
Yeah, I guess he would have been around the time that Adam was in the band, wouldn't he? Brian was.
Yeah.
That's
And Rick
right.
Williams, and then Billy Wheeler was another great banjo player that he was on the first album, so he gets a lot of credit for being kind of the first guy. But there was several came through, but the core at that time was Jerry and Tim Austin, Jerry McMillan and Tim Austin, and then. I think Jeff Midkiff probably came in within the first 3 months, and you're going to hear a pop, but it's not a beer; it's a seltzer water.
Whatever you need to drink, man, to make it through this show. It don't matter to us.
I had my last beer 19 and a half years ago, so it's not a beer.
Congrats, my man.
But so, the core in the beginning really was Tim Austin, Jerry McMillan, and Jeff Midkiff. And then they went through a couple banjo players, and then Billy recorded the first album, Billy Wheeler. And then Randy Driscoll came into the band, a great player from over around Lynchburg, Virginia. And he stayed. He was there for one album, and then that's when Brian Fessler and Adam Steffi came in. Jeff ended up moving to Chicago and playing clarinet and symphony for years, and so they did the Sunday night or Saturday night, Sunday morning album, and that was with Adam Steffi and Jerry and Tim and Adam and Brian Fessler.
Yes.
And then that was around 87, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then when Adam left, that's when they found that Ty Minsky guy. And that's what everybody always said when we were on the road. That Danny Ty Minsky. And
that's awesome.
But
I always wondered why he didn't call, when he went out on his own, why he didn't call himself Third Time Minsky. Third Time Minsky. I know. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
But and then also Dale Perry came in the band at that time playing banjo. And so that was around 88, 89. And they put out the Looking for Yourself album. and which was a great record.
Pivotal.
It is. When I was working, I had played in a group called the Virginia Squires that started a year after Lonesome River Band did. It started in '83. And me and Ricky and Ronnie Simpkins and Mark Newton had that band until '89. Ricky went with Tony Rice unit, and I, at that point, had kind of had enough of trying to be Newgrass Revival. I knew I would never be Bela Fleck, and those guys wanted to go so progressive. So I kind of bowed out of that and moved back. I was living in Richmond, Virginia at the time, and I moved back to Meadows of Dan, Virginia, where I grew up, and was working in a convenience store in 1990, around July or August, I guess. And a great talent that grew up in the same area, John Bowman. He was dating a girl that worked at the store at that time, and he came in one day and we was talking, and he said, have you heard Lonesome River Band's looking for a banjo player? And I said, well, no, I hadn't. And I didn't think much about it at the time. And then when I got home that night, I remember a guy up in Northern Virginia, Mr. Norman Wright, who played with the Bluegrass Cardinals for many years. I had been at his studio doing some recording, and he was asking me if I'd heard this guy that Tim had hired. And I said, no, and, went on. Well, when John told me that night, it kind of hit me. I might have to go get their latest record and listen to it and just see what they're doing. And I went to county sales here in Floyd, where I'm living at now, and picked up Looking for Yourself and went home. And when I put it on, I was blown away. And I called Tim the next day, and I said, man, I'd like to come down and talk to you. And so that was in August of 1990 is when I joined the band. Ronnie Bowman joined the band, and Tim Austin and myself, we started touring, and we started doing the record Carrying the Tradition that year. And that's kind of where it started.
Another pivotal bluegrass record. One of the greatest records in bluegrass history, especially among the younger generation.
Which was what was the name of it again?
Carrying the Tradition.
Yeah, gotcha, yeah.
I appreciate you saying that.
Well, you opened up with Sitting on Top of the World in a way that nobody even could imagine. When you guys did that stop right in the middle of it and then started singing Mississippi River, everybody went, what?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Every time I hear that song, that's all I can hear. Mississippi.
Yeah, it was awesome, It was just crazy good.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was.
And it stayed at number one longer than any other bluegrass record at that time had done on the charts.
Yeah.
And was finally the only record that beat it was the next one y'all put out, Old Country Town. Is that correct?
You are correct.
That's what I thought,
yeah. That was, at that time, the only chart we had was Bluegrass Unlimited. And, they've always, been 3 to 4 months behind where your airplay is actually at and stuff, And so we released that album. I can't remember what month in 91. I just know it came out sometime in 91. And I think around the first of 92 is when they started the album chart. And we were the first number one album. We stayed there for 5 months, dropped to number 2 the 6th month, and went back to number 1 on the 7th month.
Cool.
And and boy, that really lit up the calendar. I think we worked 31 days that next year.
Man, boy,
the price didn't go up any. But it did. It got a lot of attention, and I'm thankful for that. It was a sound. When we went in to cut that record, both bands had kind of been trying to go more progressive, and we just sat down and talked one day, and we said, let's cut the most traditional bluegrass album we are capable of, and that's what came out.
Wow.
That's
You
cool.
know, that was the idea going into it, and that's what happened, and it just turned out to be something a little different that nobody had ever done before. It had a different downbeat to it, and Tim Austin's rhythm guitar kind of set the tone for it, because he was so aggressive and so downbeat oriented. I had to learn how to play totally different than what I had done in the past to play with his rhythm. And I had always, you know, when I was growing up, I learned to play the Tony Rice records. So I tried to learn to play to Tony's rhythm, because the banjo and the rhythm guitar, they're voicing together all the time, you know, and doing everything together. Well, you know, so his rhythm was enough different from Tony's that I had to just kind of change my feel and change where, you know, instead of trying to push something, he would kind of pull something back sometime, and I would have to go with him around the beat, you know, and his push and pull on the timing was creating this energy that nobody had ever heard before. And he and I got really good at doing it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. But
you
know, it was a different sound. So, you know, that's what kind of put us on the map.
Yeah. I always loved his rhythm. You know, I don't know if he's even still playing anymore or not, but I know that back then he was one of my favorites, and it was because of those records that y'all did together. You know, and there was something different, something special, something unique that happened when you came in the band, because, you know, Looking for Yourself was great too, but it did not have that drive that Carrying the Tradition had from the very moment that you did the first three notes on Sitting on Top of the World. It was like something magical happened right on that third ding, 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 you know, right on that fourth down, that first downbeat there, you know, and it was just like, wow. And it never let up. That was like the best part of it. It's like it never let up. It was just like punching you in the face, and then instead of saying, "Hey, are you okay?" it just never stopped. It just kept going, you know. And it was just great.
Well, I appreciate that. It, you know, and I attribute that to this region. There's so many banjo players that have come out of this region of the country, from Western North Carolina, Western Virginia, East Kentucky, and East Tennessee. And there's just something about the Appalachia feel of bluegrass banjo. And, you know, Scruggs was the start of it, but, you know, you got Terry Balcom, who took it on the front of the beat. And Terry was like probably my biggest influence. And more so really than Crow. Bill Emerson was a big influence, but I listened to all of them and tried to learn everything I could from each of them and play what I was capable of playing. But Balcom, I felt the same thing the first time I ever put the needle on One Way Track, Boone Creek album. I felt the very same feeling, you know, that when he came in with the banjo at the beginning of One Way Track, it was like plow, and it hit you right in the face, and it never backed down.
Yeah.
And, you know, but it just, there's a feel. And see, Tim Austin grew up in the same part of the country playing banjo before he started playing guitar. And so he developed a rhythm to go with that feel of banjo. So he and I grew up 40 miles apart. And, you know, so we kind of had the same idea where the timing fell and where where the accent was on the beat. So it was something that happened that made it all work.
So after the release of, well, before I get to that, there's one of the things that happened, and it seemed like it was just for us young folks in the bluegrass world, it was just like this huge heartbreak, and that was when Tim left the band, and
Right.
we also knew that Dan had left the band, and that you had hired. We knew you hired Don, but had no idea what was going to happen with the guitar. And then I remember, I'll never forget it, because I remember Saturday morning at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and none of us were awake. So it, Chris Thiele called my house, and I had a answering machine message from him that said, "Josh, you're not going to believe this, but Lonesome River Band just hired Kenny Smith for guitar," and blah, you know. So I was just like, "What?" So how was you guys able to? It was like the magic was still there, but the guitar sound was completely different. Like,
Yeah.
How did you? How did that happen?
And plus, you were playing with just 4 people then, right?
Yes, yeah. The band was
Yeah.
a
Well,
4-piece.
Yeah, we were 4-piece throughout. You know, we didn't hire a fiddle player till '99.
Oh, gotcha.
But it was, you know, it definitely changed the sound, but it added another dimension of having the lead guitar.
Yeah.
And, you know, and Kenny was aggressive with his rhythm, you know. And you know, we kept, and there again, the vocals played such a part in it, because we brought in Don Rigsby, who is one of the greatest traditional bluegrass singers on the planet, and you know, there was a magic there, even though it was different. So, you know, we were able to maintain, you know, we had just finished the Old Country Town album when Dan left. And then actually Dan left before we finished that record, and stayed with Allison a little while, and then came back.
Yeah.
And then we finished the album, and I left for a little while. In '92, second half of '92, after Dan left, I went and played with a country band for about 6 months called Matthews, Wright and King, opening for Reba McEntire. And so I did that, and then Dan came back, then I came back, and we finished Old Country Town. And so, you know, that was another album that it was more of the same but different. You know, it had some little different twists to it. We didn't have a Sitting on Top of the World on there, but we had some pretty cool stuff. And,
Absolutely.
And it was just,
you had Who Needs You. Like, that was like, at that time, that became like the perfect bluegrass song for the longest time.
Right. And, you know, great songwriters, man. That's the basis of our sound.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, it kind of went through that. And the hard part of that was Old Country Town was released. Dan left the band. Darrell Webb came in for a little while. And then we were touring to support that record, but we didn't have that sound, you know. And then when Don came in the band, it was, you know, more of, we still got to recreate the sound with this person, and but we're still living off of the Old Country Town album at that point, using that for promotion. And then we finally, and then I think it was in like September of '95 that Tim decided he had enough of the road and wanted to stay home and work studio. And then that's when we hired Kenny. So we immediately had to go back in and start another record, which was One Step Forward was the next one after that. And that was the first one with Kenny and Don.
Yeah. and opened up with When You Go Walking After Midnight, and again blew everybody's wigs off, as Terry Bachman would say.
Well, I'm glad it did.
But I've noticed, and over the years, as any band leader will find, that it's so hard to, continue to have a sound that you had 20 years ago, even when you got the same guys involved, because, people don't sing as high the older they get or whatever, but you have always been able to find somebody to come into the band when needed, to always kind of keep that sound going. Parker was able to deliver that sound on the tenor end, and even Randy Jones was able to, so all of those guys.
And Brandon Rickman. Brandon Rickman, he was a mainstay on a guitar for 20 years. And he had that aggressive rhythm playing.
Me sure,
and
yeah, he does.
He had a very unique voice, and I just really liked it.
Even at times, he was reminiscent of Ronnie, though. At times.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's just, the songs kind of dictate how you're going to sing them, and so each singer had to kind of work with the song and make it his own as best he could, but also the original version's going to come out in places, so, but, Brandon did a great job for the time he was here. And then, Jeff Parker came in on mandolin, and I met Parker met up with him at the String Bean Festival up in, Kentucky. And, he had been playing at, Renfro Valley, and he had never done a road gig before, and he was nervous, and but man, I loved the cut of his voice, and I loved how he blended, and so he fit really well. And then when he decided to leave the band, Andy Ball from Detroit, Michigan, of all places, came in.
The bluegrass capital of the world.
That's right. But of course, half the people in Detroit back in the 70s were from Kentucky and Tennessee. So, the bluegrass world in Detroit was huge back in those days.
They went there to work, I guess, didn't they?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And, but Andy came in and did a great job, had more of a Doyle Lawson style mandolin lead, and but his singing was just phenomenal. And then, then we went back to Kentucky and hired Randy Jones after that. And he did an amazing job. He's one of the best mandolin players ever in this band. That guy was just phenomenal. The technique he had on the mandolin.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, when Randy left the band, I was looking for the voice, and I knew Jesse, had known Jesse since he was like 14, 15 years old, and I knew his capabilities as a singer. And so when he showed up, I hired him on the phone, and then he came up to play with us one day, and everybody thought it was his audition, and I'd already hired him. And, after the audition, Brandon looked at me and he said, I believe that boy might work out. And I said, well, he's going to. He's got the job. But there again, it was personality and just knowing who he was. And that's the big thing with me. When Adam Miller joined the band, he came to Bristol at a festival we were playing, and me and him sat down in the bus and talked for 3 hours. And I gave him the job before he ever hit a note with us.
Yeah.
Because of who he was. And I figured out real quick what kind of person he was. And, he was 22 years old at the time, and he's the least of my worries in this band. Yeah. He's one of the finest young people I've ever known in my life. Mm-hmm. And, but, everybody has to get along on the bus. There's so many different aspects besides the music.
Yes.
And, So it's got to gel in every direction for it to work out. And right now, I'm the happiest and having the most fun I've ever had playing music.
Wow.
And it's just, I've got the right people there, and I hope, we got 7.5 more years to make it to the 50th anniversary, and I'll be 70 at that point. And I'm looking at hitting that mark and then deciding if I'm still able to play, if my hands still work, if I still feel like it. But that's my goal, is to keep this band together until then.
That's awesome. That's a great goal. We hope you do. And
oh my gosh, absolutely. I don't even want to know what the world would sound like without Sammy Shelor's banjo playing out there in the mix constantly.
I know. So I got a question. You think there's one song that defines Lonesome River Band, or like what is the song that band that you guys get asked to play the most, or is there one song that just stands out above them all, or that?
Well, it's funny. I think the one that we get the most requests for is Carolyn, the Teenage Queen.
Yeah.
And it's such an off the wall story. Yep. It's about a guy wanting to kill his wife, but didn't get to because she got killed in a wreck before she got home.
And he's mad about it. She cheated me once again.
Yeah, and it haunted him the rest of his life that he didn't get to do it.
Those good old heartfelt stories,
I'm telling you.
That's right, man. But man, Wendy Smith wrote a winner there, and that song is the same age as I am. It was written in 1962.
Wow.
And so it's 62 years old, just like myself. And but it's that song has been a mainstay and probably played every show.
Yeah.
That we've done. And Sitting on Top of the World is kind of the signature thing, and it gets played a lot, but we don't get near as many requests for it as we do Carolyn, because somebody's going to holler Carolyn out of the crowd every time.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's usually not a woman. I've noticed that. It's usually a man.
That's so cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is funny, man.
I know you guys play Marianne a lot. I know that's probably one of your top ones as well.
Yeah, that would be number 2 for sure.
Yeah.
And, and the wild part of that song is every singer that's ever sung it in this band made it his own.
Yeah.
They would always do something with it to... it's like when Brandon came, he slowed it way down.
Yeah.
And made it more of just a real crooning, but he made it his own. And Adam's done the same thing with it. And he's doing some stuff with it that just absolutely tears the women up. Now, the women want to hear Marianne.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
Of all the versions of Marianne, they range from like 3 minutes long to 4 minutes long. There's this variety of tempos.
I think one of my favorite, one of my all-time favorite Lonesome River Band songs, though, has got to be "The Game."
The Game?
Yeah, The Game I Can't Win. Oh, Junior Sisk's right in there, isn't it? That's one of Junior's, I believe, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And we just did a thing here in Floyd back the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And we had a bunch of guests come up, Alan Mills, and had Jerry McMillan and Jeff Midkiff come and sit in with us.
Cool.
And just kind of, reminiscing and reliving some older days. And we did Hello. You remember that song?
Oh,
yeah. So we did a bunch of really cool stuff that night. But the coolest thing, in my opinion, we got Junior up to sing The Game.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it has never been sung better. He absolutely killed it. And just blew my face off.
That's awesome.
And so that it's on the Floyd Country Store TV, and I will go back and watch that at least 100 times because
That's awesome.
He just put some twists on it that I'd never heard before, and it was incredible.
That's awesome.
Well, you guys got a lot of great old music, but you got some pretty darn good new music too. I mean, this new album is The Winning Hand has got a lot of great songs on it.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. It's go ahead.
But I was just going to say, I was going to actually change the subject. So if you got something you want to say about that, finish out. Because I am going to change the subject before we get done, Tim. I just want you to know, because I want to know, and most people won't remember what I'm going to ask about, because it's one of those things where it's like, if you really knew Lonesome River Band back in the day, you'd know who I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about the group Santa Rosa.
Yeah. Yeah, that was our alter ego for about 18 months. We right after we released Carrying the Tradition, we were starving, and we just didn't have any work, and what work we had didn't pay that much. I think we were working maybe 35 or 40 bluegrass states a year. So I just sat down with the guys one day. I had, back in the mid 80s, bluegrass kind of took a turn for the worse for a few years there, and there wasn't a lot of places to play. And so I got into country music because back then in the 80s, there was a bar on every corner that had country music in Richmond, Virginia. Mm-hmm. So I started playing. I found a female vocalist who couldn't find anybody that could sing the part underneath her. They couldn't hear that baritone part, Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, you give me 6 months to learn how to play a Telecaster playing along, and I'll sing those parts for you. And back then I could actually sing. I had a pretty good range at that point, but 40 years of smoking kind of killed that. But
I understand.
But so I started playing country and played in like 3 or 4 different country bands around Richmond over the next 4 years. And so whenever I came back here, we were sitting there with nothing to do. And I said, boys, let's put a country band together. I bet we could get some work. And we got this agent out of Roanoke that was booking all the Cowboys chain at that time, which was like the biggest country music bar chain on the East Coast. There would be 1,800 people a night in these places. So within 3 months of putting that band together, we were working all the Cowboys and every other bar, the Hitching Post in Bristol. We were working 6 nights a week, killing ourselves 5 hours a night, playing top 40 country and Stevie Ray Vaughan. That was our when they wanted to get out there and rock and roll, our go-to was Stevie Ray Vaughan songs.
Nice.
We worked up a bunch of them, and of course I couldn't play anything like Stevie Ray, but I'd turn the fuzz up high and just wail on it,
Yeah, man.
But
when
so
they're
Santa
half
Rosa,
drunk, they thought it sounded great, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely, man. As long as that kick drum was hitting them in the face, they didn't care. But we ended up going in. We had cut a demo with one drummer and put that out and got some work on it. Then we ended up hiring this other drummer who was a great, great drummer. His name was Kenneth Smith out of East Tennessee. And when Doobie Shea Studios burned up, the only copy of those demos got burned up with it.
Oh.
So I've gone through every box of cassettes I had from the 90s, and I have not been able to find my copy. It was like 6 songs, and it was pretty cool sounding. It was different than anything on, because we were a bunch of bluegrassers trying to play top 40 country. So it had a different feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
But so you were playing Telecaster.
Yeah.
And then what was everybody else playing?
Dan was playing fiddle and mandolin, and then I had a guitar synthesizer. and it had a module, and you could pull up piano parts. And Dan figured out that if you used banjo picks, it would track pretty good. If you tried to do it with a flat pick, it was always behind because of the latency in it. But when he would use banjo picks, of course, Dan was a banjo player first.
Right.
And so when he would use banjo picks on this synthesizer, it would track pretty well. He'd still have to think a little bit ahead. So he played like piano and organ parts. Bowman was playing rhythm guitar. Tim was playing bass. And then me and Dan were swapping all the solos between Telecaster and whatever he was playing at the time.
That's so awesome. Like I said, go ahead.
And he played electric mandolin. He played electric mandolin too. He actually bought an electric mandolin from Mike Hartgrove.
Oh, no kidding.
And
was it a Mandocaster or what was it?
Yeah, it was a Glazer.
Oh,
it was one of the Glazers that like he built for Skaggs.
Yeah.
And so he played that too. So that's so it was a lot of string bending and twang going on.
That's so awesome. Though.
That's cool.
I wish give
we had recording
anything to have a recording or to have been able to watch you guys do that. Because that's like a legendary story, man. Because I said that, I brought that up, and Tim's like, "What? Like, what the hell are you talking about?"
I didn't know anything about that.
And I knew you wouldn't. You know, it's just one of those things where if you really knew the Lonesome River Band, then you knew about Santa Rosa. You know,
the cowboy days.
But you were never afraid, though, to bring that Telecaster out at bluegrass festivals, and I always respected the fire out of you for doing that. You know, because there's always those people that be like, "Oh, he's got an electric guitar," and I'd be like, "That is awesome." You know, who else would do that? That's so awesome.
Well,
it made Hobo Blues a completely new, fun thing too. Every time you did it, you know.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was I just enjoyed it so much, and it fit that song so well. But I got tired of carrying all that gear around for one song.
I believe it.
So, but I'll let you in on a little secret. And the first single is coming out next week. But we have a new album we're working on, and it's going to be called the Telegrass Sessions.
What?
I like it already.
I just bought my first Telecaster last week. All
right.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm excited.
I've got a buddy that taught me how to play guitar back in the 80s. His name's Rod Riley. And he was from Richmond. He's been in Nashville for 30-some years and played with Ricky Van Shelton, Vern Gostin, Joe Nichols, just a ton of different people. Well, about 5 years ago, he was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. And he has been doing immunotherapy, and it's kept the cancer from getting any worse, and he's been able to survive and work. And he and I have been friends for 40 years, and I had never recorded with him. And finally, a while back, I don't know. Well, he went to Florida with us last March. A festival down there wanted us to do something different. So I said, well, I'm going to bring a tele guy with me. And they were all in for that. So after we finished that weekend, it went over so well that I said, you know what, we're going to do a record.
That's
and
awesome.
That's what we're doing. And it is the Lonesome River Band, no drums, just Lonesome River Band with a Telecaster.
That's awesome.
And it's called Telegrassers?
Telegrass Sessions.
Telegrass Session?
Yes, it's going to be called the Telegrass Sessions.
That's so cool.
Rod and I started doing some shows together 3 or 4 years ago, just little side stuff I'd get asked to do, and I'd call Rod to come play, and we'd have bass, rhythm, guitar, and me and him doing leads. And I got to thinking about what we could call it, and finally it just hit me. I said Telegrass, and so it kind of stuck with those gigs, and And that's what I'm going to call this album.
That's awesome.
I can't wait.
I can't either. I'm already excited.
I know it. Now I really got to learn how to play my telly.
We'll buy that album and you'll be able to learn all that stuff.
Yeah.
Think about it this way. Think about Jerry Reed playing with the Lonesome River Band.
Oh my
That's gonna be
gosh.
so awesome.
I love that. That is freaking awesome, man. I hope y'all do Amos Moses.
Well,
Oh man.
well, there's nobody in Nashville can play the rhythm on Amos Moses like Rod Riley.
I believe that.
And Brent Mason will tell you in a minute. If you ask him who the best rhythm player is in Nashville, he'll tell you Rod Riley. And he's a phenomenal lead player, but his rhythm is just a groove that is like no other. And it sets me on fire. And it makes us play just a little bit different, even more groovier than we've ever played before.
That's awesome, man.
I can't wait to hear that.
And Josh, you'll remember this song from my solo record called "I'm On to You."
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Junior sang that one,
That's
didn't he?
the first. No, Dan did. Dan sang it on that. Junior sang "Mountain Girl."
Oh, that's what it was. That's right. Yeah, I'm on to you.
Yeah.
You've been on the town.
Yeah,
Sneaking,
All right,
lying,
that's the first
cheating,
single.
trying to keep the rumors down.
that's it. I think about
Yes.
that with a Telecaster.
I can already hear that, man. That makes perfect sense. Like, why didn't you play that on the first time you cut it? You know, like that would have worked.
Because Tony was playing rhythm, and I didn't want to mess that up.
Well, I understand that. I do get that. And somewhere I have heard somewhere from back in the Red Slipper Lounge days, there is an audio recording of Tony trying to play a Telecaster on one of them shows.
Really?
Or whatever. Yes. And I don't.
Man.
And I hear it was like, it's a good thing that he was sticking with the acoustic, is what I understand.
Really?
Yeah, it was not exactly like that top-notch thing that you would expect. So, but who knows? You know, I mean, that's also hearsay. But like I say, I have heard that is in existence somewhere. Somewhere somebody has that.
Right. Well, I'd love to hear that one.
I guess
No
Crow
doubt.
told him, you need to stick with that acoustic.
If you're out there listening in podcast land and you have that recording, we will take it.
Yes,
So-
absolutely. Please let us know.
Yes, absolutely. That's so awesome, man. Well, dang, man, I'm so excited now. I just want to hurry up and hear that album now.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Oh,
Definitely
I'll
keep us
text the
posted on
tracks
that
over to you.
when it gets done, man. Definitely let us know. We'll do a big feature.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we got 5 songs done right now, and we're going back in the next couple of months to finish it up. But we're releasing a single already.
Well,
And
good.
I'll send y'all the tracks
Yeah.
and let you hear them.
That's so
That'd be
cool.
so good, man. So
Cool.
awesome.
But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I hope it catches on. You know.
Oh, me too.
But it's because it's being done because of Rod and myself being friends for so many years, and my respect for his playing, and the fact that he can walk into a bluegrass situation and fit.
Yeah.
He knows exactly what to play. He and I we lived together for about 1.5 years, and we would lay around and listen to music all the time. We were lazy club musicians, you know.
Yeah.
And so if we weren't playing, we was listening to something, trying to learn something.
Absolutely.
Well, I turned him on to bluegrass and Tony Rice and that feel, and he immediately grasped the concept of it. And, you know, it's just his mind accepted that feel of music. And he turned me on to how to play, like, you know, or how to think like the country players did.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he was big into Reggie Young. And
Oh, gosh, yes.
yeah, Reggie was like, he is my favorite guitar player of all time.
Absolutely.
On the electric, you know.
Mine too,
And
man.
But Rock can feel that Reggie stuff, but he was absolutely eat up with Jerry Reed and learned how to play that funky backbeat rhythm. And, but he makes it work in a bluegrass context.
That's killer, man.
It is so cool.
So it's something different,
Absolutely.
We'll just see how it flies. I might ruin my career with this, but I don't care.
Hey, you're 7 years from retirement. You can hang on.
Yeah, but just imagine if you're going to have that much fun doing that, what a way to go, right?
Exactly.
I mean,
Absolutely.
shoot, yes. Dude, thanks so much for joining us on this, man. This is so...
golly. Yeah, so fun. Thank you so much, man.
Man, thank y'all. And I hope it's worth using. I've been having fun with you. That's the way I look at a podcast. You just go in and have fun.
Absolutely, dude. And you've been a hero of mine. Lonesome River Band has just always, all of you guys, of course, when I was first exposed to you, it was already the Carrying the Tradition band, and I picked up on their earlier stuff later on. But, the first time that I heard the band, you were in it, and it was, you, Dan, Ronnie, and Tim, and then of course on that record you had Bobby Hicks on some of it and Alison Krauss on some of it, and but that core group of you guys was just it for me. So when Old Country Town came out, that was the record that I literally would listen to all night, and every time I would lay down to go to bed, I would turn on Old Country Town, and then I remember at one point waking up and thinking, what am I listening to? It sounded so weird to me, and it was like something completely foreign. This was the first time this ever happened, and I never really understood why it sounded different. But I could literally, from that moment, I could play all of the solos. I knew all of the words. I knew all of the vocal parts. It was like it was. I listened to it so much it was welded into my brain, and I was such a huge Sammy Shelor fan because I was still playing banjo back then, all the time, and even had Deering make me a top tension because I wanted to be Sammy Shelor, and so I've got the height. I just got to have the banjo and the timing and all that stuff, so yeah, you've always been just one of my heroes, and I appreciate you doing this, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. I've always had the utmost respect for you because I've watched you walk into some situations and come out swinging that 99.9% of people could not do. And you are a true professional. And you've got me out of a bind several times, and I do appreciate it. And what I saw you do with the Bluegrass Album Band and all these different things that you've done is it's amazing to watch. Well, and you're a true pro, man.
Well, thank you, Sammy. Thanks for being on here with us, brother. I love you much, man. I sure do.
We love you. Love you. What you've done for Bluegrass, man. Have a great night, Sammy.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it, guys, and y'all take care, and thanks for having me on.
You take care of them youngins too, man.
I will do that.
All right, brother.
All right, man. See you later.
All right, y'all have a good one.
All right.
Bye.
I love that guy.
So cool, man.
I love that guy so much.
Yeah, he's a class act. I love it. Love it. I can't wait to hear this new stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
That is so awesome. So, well, man, it's been a great show, man. We've had a great time. I know we've gone a little bit longer than normal, but I mean, why not? It's Sammy Shelor.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Like we had a true living legend.
Exactly. So many great stories and so much fun. And I mean, the history of this band and him as a person is just second to none. So
yeah, absolutely. Great dude, man.
Yep. Well, thank y'all for listening to the Hometown Bluegrass Show. Don't forget to check out pagecapo.com and banjobenclark.com and our other great sponsors, Puckett's Jewelry and Custom Automotive and the Lake House Inn. We appreciate y'all for listening.
Well, folks, that's a wrap for this episode of the Hometown Bluegrass Show with Tim and Josh. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Facebook to stay connected to your bluegrass community. Got a question for us? A story to share? Or an artist we should feature? Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. You can find all the details at timbats.com. Thanks for listening to the Hometown Bluegrass Show, where the heart of bluegrass music lives. This has been a Bats Music and Media production.